Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're heading into some really fascinating territory, maybe a bit unexpected. We're looking at two traditions often seen as, well, quite mysterious: the Druze faith and Freemasonry.
Yeah, and the sources we've gathered point to this really deep connection, a profound overlap in how they see the universe. Our goal here is to unpack this shared idea that the universe isn't random. It's what our sources call a sacred architecture. And crucially, the whole spiritual path is about, bringing your own life into sync with that structure.
Right, and what's striking immediately is that this isn't just about, say, similar moral codes. We're talking about a shared cosmology, a fundamental view of reality. For the Druze, you see it clearly in their 11th teaching, unity with the cosmic order. It's right there. And for Masons, the parallel is, well, it's literally built into their meeting places. The lodge itself is seen as a microcosm, like a small-scale model of the entire universe, built following the designs of the grand architect. That really sets the scene. Okay, so if it's sacred architecture, there must be an architect, right? The source of this order. How did these traditions describe that ultimate source? Because this seems like a point where the language might differ a bit, even if the function is similar.
That's a really good point. In the Druze view, the ultimate source, Al-Bari, is, well, it's described as singular, beyond our grasp, fundamentally unknowable, a pure, hidden wellspring of existence. Creation doesn't just flow directly from it. That would be chaotic. So order comes through emanation. Think of it like a series of perfect reflections or veils. And the very first of these, the active principle that actually shapes existence, is the universal intellect, Aql al-Kulli. Imagine al-Bari as this incredibly bright, maybe blinding sun. Aql al-Kulli is like the first perfect lens, focusing that divine light into a pattern we can comprehend.
Okay, so the original source is beyond knowing, but the design itself comes through this universal intellect, and that design has a specific structure.
Exactly. That structure is called the Thudud. It's a cosmic hierarchy 5 levels deep that governs everything. And here's the really key part, the practical bit for us. The human being is considered a microcosm of this, a reflection of the Hudud. So if you don't align your thoughts, your actions with this divine hierarchy, you're essentially creating spiritual static dissonance. Our sources suggest this acts almost like a spiritual gravity, pulling the soul down into forgetfulness cycle after cycle.
Wow, okay, the stakes are incredibly high then. It's not
Why?
just an external thing.
Yeah.
It's deeply internal. So let's compare that to the Masonic idea of the builder.
Right. Freemasonry uses the term Grand Architect of the Universe, often abbreviated GAOTU. Now, a subtle difference maybe from the Druze unknowable source is that GAOTU is often described more actively as intelligent, benevolent, a designer. The ultimate craftsman, you could say. The core idea is that reality operates according to a logical, moral, and importantly, beautiful design.
And this concept isn't just theoretical for Masons, is it? Our sources show they really bring this idea down to earth, literally building it into their lodges. The space becomes the lesson.
Precisely. The lodge's physical layout is a teaching tool. It's meant to be an immersive model of the grand architect's universe.
So things like the pillars or the floor pattern, they aren't just decor, they're teaching cosmic principles, like duality.
Absolutely. Take the 2 big pillars at the entrance, Boaz and Jachin. They stand for strength and stability. These are seen as essential dual forces holding the cosmos together, much like you might see active and passive principles elsewhere. They signify that entering true knowledge requires understanding these polarities. And then you've got the checkerboard floor. That's such a direct symbol, isn't it? It's not just good versus evil, but the constant dance of light and dark, the dualities you have to navigate in life. Moral choice. When the candidate walks on that floor, they're stepping into a reality defined by these opposites. They're symbolically choosing light over darkness, order over chaos.
That's a powerful image. It makes the floor active, a space of constant decision, which connects right back to the Odu you have to choose alignment. And the blazing star symbol, often shown above it, keeps the focus on divine guidance, on the architect's plan.
Exactly right, keeping you oriented towards the source of the design. And, once you have the architecture, you need the language used to draw up the plans. This leads us naturally from the structure itself to the rules governing it. Geometry. For both traditions, geometry isn't just math, it's like the spiritual language of creation.
It's really interesting how the Druze use geometry more metaphorically.
Yes. For them, geometric harmony is a deep metaphor for metaphysical balance, for the inherent intelligence woven into creation. When their texts describe that hierarchy, the emanations, they use imagery of circles, spheres, raised perfect forms showing how divine wisdom unfolds. The perfection isn't just about shape, it points to a hidden order. So studying geometry becomes a spiritual practice, a way to get closer to the universe's underlying patterns.
And Freemasonry, well, it puts geometry front and center, doesn't it? It's one of the 7 liberal arts and sciences held in very high regard. There's that quote from the fellow craft degree teaching, something like, geometry is the first and noblest of sciences.
And the basis on which the superstructure of Masonry is erected. Yes, it leaves no doubt about its importance. It's foundational.
And the main symbols, the square and compasses, are literally tools of geometry, but used symbolically, right, to shape your moral life, not just stone.
Precisely. To measure your conduct against the divine plan, it connects your personal actions to the cosmic design. That's why Albert Pike put it so beautifully. Geometry is his signature, written in space. Every perfect angle, every balanced form is evidence of that intelligent design. And the Mason's job is to mirror that perfection within themselves.
Okay, so we've talked structure, the blueprint, the language of geometry. What about the movement, the rhythm, the music of this cosmic architecture? In the Druze teachings, there seems to be a strong focus on internal resonance, harmony of conscience, the vibration of thought, a life lived in prayerful rhythm. It sounds a lot like that old Pythagorean idea, musica universalis, the music of the spheres, the universe as a symphony.
Exactly. And vibration is a key concept there. When they talk about the rhythm of a prayerful life, it's not just about repeating words, it's about tuning your inner self, your soul's frequency, to match the harmony of the universal intellect. If your thoughts are all over the place, you're out of tune with the cosmos, harmonizing your inner state, the sources suggest, brings ease, maybe grace, because you're flowing with the cosmic current, not fighting it.
And Freemasonry seems to train this physically through ritual, the precision in opening and closing the lodge, the movements.
Yes, very much so. The candidate's progression through the degrees isn't random, it's choreographed, a kind of symbolic dance. This harmony in voices and minds and actions is considered the hallmark of a properly functioning lodge. It's like physical practice in cosmic alignment. Disorder, on the other hand, is seen as chaos, the opposite of light. If the lodge is a mini-universe, any disruption within it affects the whole model, just like inner dissonance affects the Druze soul's balance.
This is really shifting my perspective. If the universe has this architecture and this music, then morality, ethics, they stop being just human agreements. They become cosmic laws, like physics.
That's exactly it. For both traditions, moral law is cosmic law. Your ethical choices directly show whether you're aligning with the divine structure or, well, rebelling against it.
Let's touch on the Druze side first, because with reincarnation involved, the consequences seem immense.
They really are. For the Druze, moral conduct is vital because the soul journeys through many lifetimes. Virtues like truthfulness, justice, humility, they aren't just nice things to do, they are presented as laws of cosmic balance, like weights needed to keep the universe and your own soul in equilibrium. So rebellion through ego, uncontrolled passion, ignorance creates that spiritual dissonance we talked about. And that dissonance, according to the Voodoo principle, ties the soul to cycles of suffering until that imbalance is corrected.
Wait, hang on. So if I tell a lie, it's not just a social faux pas. I'm literally creating a ripple of disorder in the cosmos that I personally have to fix later. That's a huge weight of responsibility. Every choice becomes cosmically significant.
It definitely raises the stakes. And Masons are given actual tools, symbols, to help with this alignment. The square for virtue, the level for equality, the plumb line for uprightness.
Right. They're not just metaphors. They're engineering tools applied to building the self. The instruction is to build your inner temple, true to the plumb, square, and level.
And the shared point is really stark. Applying moral law isn't just a mistake. It's actively working against the fundamental order of reality. It's like intentionally building crooked walls in God's temple.
Which naturally leads us to initiation. If we start out sort of spiritually forgetful or out of sync,
right,
then initiation is the path back, right? The journey of reintegration, fixing those walls.
Yes. In the Druze view, the soul descends into the material world, losing its connection, its knowledge. The spiritual path is explicitly a journey of return, an ascent back to the source, achieved through discipline, gaining knowledge, and service. It's about consciously remembering your place in the Thodude.
And Freemasonry acts this out dramatically, especially in the Master Mason ritual. It's a powerful allegory. The candidate is symbolically killed, representing the soul lost to materiality, maybe disintegrated, and then raised back to unity and light. So the story of Hiram Iba, the builder who's killed, it's more than just a tale of loyalty. It's an allegory for the soul's fall into chaos and its potential return to the architect's light.
Absolutely. It pulls it all together. The lodge models the cosmos, the ritual reenacts creation and restoration, and the initiate isn't just learning about it, they become a participant, a co-laborer in restoring that harmony, starting with their own inner world. So I think the key takeaway from looking at these sources together is that achieving this unity with cosmic order, it's not passive. It demands active, conscious alignment. It asks you to apply geometry to your ethics and rhythm to your inner life. You're called to view the world as sacred and your life as a project in sacred building.
To live in balance is to live in grace. And the idea that measuring your life by the compass and square helps build a self fit for that temple not made with hands, that's quite something. Which really leaves you, the listener, with a final thought to consider. What role do these ideas, geometry, harmony, symbolism, play in your own sense of the universe? Do you see it as a sacred temple? And how consciously are you using those kinds of tools to build your own life? Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.